It's not always easy, is it, guys? Any of you that's been around the block, messed with these cars for any length of time, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's always some gremlin hiding somewhere in the bushes just waiting on you, right? Well, sometimes things go really good and they end bad. Sometimes things start off really badly, but they end good. This is kind of an in-between case. In my video where I was showing you guys how to install the Terminator X, you might have saw where I left the whole intake open on the car, the lower intake. Guys, that is rule number 1. You never do that. But your boy got sidetracked, worrying about making a video, you know, all this time pressure and everything else that I say I'm not gonna put on myself, but I do it anyway. You guys are guilty of it as well. I just forgot to tape it up. I ended up taping it up about an hour and a half into the install, which is not smart, okay? Whatever, no big deal. I said, all right, well, let me go ahead and tape this thing up. So we get the Terminator X installed on the car, and we go to fire it up for the first time, and it's like, you could just, it's just struggling, right? And all of a sudden it just, and backfires. I know you guys love my sound effects, but that's what it sounded like. So after the car backfires, I'm like, that doesn't sound too good. Immediately after that, my starter took a hit. Like, now the starter is making noises. It just has that metal on metal just grinding sound, right? So I'm like, uh-oh, we got a problem. And immediately my mind went back to this lower intake right here. I said, my God, I have dropped a nut, a bolt, a socket, a washer, something down in my engine. And this has caused all these problems that I'm having here, right? I mean, look, guys, this is the way this worked out. I also have a really bad header leak down here. Well, at the same time, I had a vacuum leak on top of whatever else was going on. So believe it or not, when I would start the car up, it literally sounded like it was blowing exhaust like out of the head. I mean, it had me so confused and upset on what was going on, I couldn't think straight. I didn't know what was happening. Now guys, I've been working on these cars for a long time. I'm no master mechanic, but something like that, you know, I should have put 2 and 2 together and said, no, that's not the case. Oh, but here I go. I start getting stressed out. I can't sleep at night. I'm like, I have dropped something down this intake. I have screwed up my head, my valves, for sure a piston, and possibly even scarred up my cylinder walls. Also, did I bend a rod? You know what I mean? Like, what all happened because of this? So I start playing all this stuff around in my head. So after trying to start this car, like it wouldn't do anything, wouldn't fire. So I finally took the cap off the distributor, reached down there, and you could just spin the button on the distributor. It's not supposed to do that when it's in the car, right? You guys know that. So immediately my brain went to, oh crap, we have broken the timing chain on this thing. Well, come to find out, long story short, all it was the pin had broken off in the gear right there for the distributor. After another day of trying to figure out what was going on with this, I was getting ready to pull the engine on this thing. Come to find out, it was just that. Don't worry, I was going to show you guys everything. Matter of fact, I had some of that video already shot where I thought the engine was gone. I was even going to make a post on Instagram about it. I said, nah, let's just, you know, see this thing out, see what's going on. So with all that, I put a bronze gear in, did all that stuff, put an aluminum pin in, that way that thing could shear really quickly if it needs to, and hopefully not mess anything up. They should have had a bronze gear in it anyway. But, so we get that done, car busts right off. Runs like a champ. I'm like, oh my God, look at this. I mean, you know how excited I was. I actually have some footage of that, so I'll throw that in right now. Yeah, you plug the harness back in? Yeah. All right, so guys, we don't know if this is gonna work or not. We hope it is. We replaced the gear, and now Andrew's gonna go in and try to start the car. So let's see. Yeah, we'll just see if it'll start up. Oh yeah, baby. That actually sounds all right. Here, I'll give it a little throttle input. See, I backed the throttle way down. Okay, go ahead. I say that. All right, try it again. Guys, that's it. She's good. That's money there. That is money. So that was 100% work. So what happened to the car as to why it was so sluggish to start and why it backfired is, so this car was on a mega squirt, right? So I did my static timing and all that stuff according to the Mega Squirt, which was 20 degrees is where I set it at, right? So that means that this distributor was sitting on 20 degrees, like where you would normally set your car, like how you would set it at 10 to 14 degrees, something like that. My car was set at 20. So that made the car really, really hard to start. We didn't even have time to do the static timing on the Holley Terminator X yet because you have to start it up first. So it was really hard to start, and that's pretty much what did it. Also though, there's another issue. Back in there, behind the distributor, the RTV, I used the copper stuff, right? So you can see it down in there. Well, I had put so much RTV around this thing that it was actually holding the distributor back. Like there was a big like glob of it around the back side of the distributor, so it wouldn't sit down in there right. So what it did is it actually like cocked the distributor a little bit and put pressure on it. Well, that caused the distributor to eat into itself. Let's see if I have it. Yeah, right here. See all that metal right there, guys? Look at that. And yes, I have to take my bronze gear back off and put it on that one. That's the distributor out of the Retro Fox for right this second. So yeah, like I said, the car actually ran really good after I put the new distributor in. Perfect. But then I noticed that, and it pretty much wore down all those little nubs that were right under here. It wore that down to nothing. So the whole time, guys, the whole time it was nothing more than there was too much RTV down there. Now, why didn't it happen earlier before that? I don't know. But it happened, and it was putting unneeded stress on that distributor, which caused it to rub against itself, and it would literally snatch the distributor out of my hand and try to retard itself. No lie. I kept checking the timing on the car after I got it running again, after we put the bronze gear in it, and I would check it and I'd set it to 20 degrees doing my static timing, and then all of a sudden I'd look over here and the distributor's back here. I'm like, all right, hold up, what's up here? I move it back, tighten it down, check it again, good to go. Come back, it's way over here again. Guys, it was rubbing on itself on the body of the distributor. It was binding up, and it was causing the distributor to snatch itself back around. That's what broke that pin. So all in all of this stuff that I'm telling you, it wasn't even the intake, but I thought it was. See, this is unneeded stress that I didn't need. So let me go back over this with you guys real quick, like to recap what actually happened to the car, because you're probably like, okay, what? There's a bunch of stuff that happened. First couple times we tried to start the car, it was really, really hard to start, and then it backfired. After that, the starter got really, really noisy on the car, and it was just like grinding trying to start. We did get it running a few times, but man, the car had no power. You could give it throttle and it almost wouldn't even idle up. Come to find out, what happened was the distributor had moved around. It would literally move itself around and basically have no timing in it at all. It'd be completely off the chart down there. You couldn't even check the timing. This thing would rotate back around that way. Every time I would tighten the distributor up to keep it from doing that, what I was doing was just creating more of a load on that gear down there. So what happened? It snapped the pin. I didn't realize that that's what was going on at the moment. I thought the timing was too high on the car, all of this stuff. Believe it or not, that was not the case. It was simply all of that RTV back there. That was the problem. So simple, so simple. We get the car running. I do a tuning session with Matt at Leach Motorsports. Thank you, by the way, Matt. Huge shout out. We've got a video coming on that here real soon where he helped me like tune the car, right? It's like a 2-hour session. It's gonna be pretty cool. So we get all that stuff done, and the car is running pretty good. We're working through the tuning issues on it, you know, with the idle and stuff. And then all of a sudden, poof, that's it. The car just stops running while it's idling. What now? Okay, big deal. I start looking around. I'm like, all right, it's some wire, something's come off. No. Now it's a fuel pump issue. So this is what I do want to tell you guys, and I know this isn't the video to include this, but I'll try to cover it in another video when I go over the Terminator X. But just so you guys do know, the Terminator X is only I think set up for like 10 to 15 amps of draw for the fuel pump, and that 340 I think is somewhere around 20 or 25 amps or something. I'm not sure, but Matt over at Leach Motorsports did tell me, he said, man, that's probably too much of a draw on the Terminator X. You guys know, just like I do, if that fuel pump's not getting the current that it needs, it probably killed it. It's a new fuel pump, but probably killed it. Now I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. I can hear the fuel pump run. And as you can see, that's what it does. Now, I would say probably a fuel filter clogged up or something like that, but guys, it just stopped mid-run, so that's probably not it. The fuel pump probably just died. So this is all I want to say. We love these cars, but they can bite us in the butt. Don't make it any easier for the car to kick you in the ass, right? Cover things up when you're working on them. Make sure you take your time, you plan your build out, and if you can, get an extra set of eyes, hands over to help you, because this isn't easy. You get out here and you get frustrated, you get aggravated, maybe you're on a time crunch. That's when mistakes happen. Slow it down. These things won't bite you in the ass as bad anyway, if you do. All right, so anyway, what's the plans real quick like with the car? So what we're gonna do with the Calypso Clone is obviously order a new fuel pump. Yes, we will just be ordering another 340 pump. That's what's in the back. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is a Walbro pump. I'm not 100% sure on that, but we're gonna go with the Aeromotive, the LMR cells. I'm gonna throw that in the back, and we're gonna do the wiring upgrade. I'm fully aware that that is still not enough fuel for this car. We need to go all out and put a really good fuel system in it. So I just can't go buy a $1,500, $1,600 fuel system for the car. But what we can do is go ahead and get the wiring upgrade done, because Neo Mustangs has been on me about that. If you guys don't know Neo, that's one of his pet peeves. You do a wiring upgrade on these pumps, or a pump, I don't have two, just got one. But you do that wiring upgrade, and that's really gonna help this pump live a little longer and make a little more power. Also, something else we can do is up the fuel pressure a little bit on the car. So we'll probably go in and set this fuel pressure a little bit higher than normal. So that's what we're gonna do for right now. We're gonna put the TKX in it. We're going back 5-speed. We're probably gonna go to a wrinkle wall tire, so probably like an actual drag slick, or a true just bi-supply tire in general, like a street tire, like a Hoosier or something like that. I like Hoosiers, if you guys don't know. They're awesome. So then we're gonna work on playing with this car. Next year, I think next year, early next year, is when we're gonna turn this thing up. And guys, that should almost wrap up the build for the Calypso. Anyway, guys, we're gonna probably do another video talking about all this type of stuff. Do's and don'ts, if you will. All right, for now though, take your time, be patient, and as always, thanks for watching.